I don't think a story ever touched as many people as much as this last feature. It's about a young man who, through determination and courage, overcame overwhelming obstacles and circumstances to emerge a winner. This is Caesar's story.
Caesar Rentie was recruited by the likes of Texas A&M, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma State. He chose Oklahoma over all of them back in the spring of 1983. The 280-pound senior had set goals of becoming a standout lineman for the Sooners. A series of injuries prevented that, but still, Caesar has played a lot and been a big contributor to the program, both on and off the field. Any adversity Caesar Rentie has experienced at the University of Oklahoma doesn't faze him one bit. Adversity was an everyday companion to Caesar for much of his young life. Caesar's family had to be on welfare early in his life. The Renties moved from poverty in Kansas City into more poverty in Hartshorn, Oklahoma 11 years ago. The old homestead was hardly livable. Caesar's close friend and mentor, Dr. Brad Luckett, remembers the young man's hard times very well.
If we went out to Caesar's house like Caesar lived 6 or 7 years ago, I think he would find a house that the roof leaked when it rained, an open-air heater. And there was sewer going in underneath the ground. And they put plastic on the windows to keep the cold out during the wintertime. And the only time I ever saw Caesar really frustrated or aggravated was when he went into his room one day. We were getting ready to go to a football game and getting ready to go on a recruiting type trip. And Caesar could not find his clothes in a cardboard box in a room with no light. That's the only time I've ever seen this big boy frustrated. Caesar has been an inspiration and a blessing to us a whole lot more than we've been an inspiration and a blessing to him.
Dr. Lockett and others in this southeastern Oklahoma community have been a blessing to the Rentie family. Life is easier on Caesar's family now than it was, thanks to generosity and the Rentie's traditional hard work ethic. And there are a multitude of Renties living in and around Hartshorn to share the good times. From great-grandparents to great-uncles and great-aunts to nephews and nieces. But no matter how prosperous times become, Caesar will never have the gift of sound with his parents. Caesar Julius and Irma Rentie are deaf mutes. Caesar's father, also his hero, is paralyzed with a stroke and crippled with diabetes. Still, the Renties share their love and expressions with one another.
Are you happy with your life, with your family?
Yeah, she says together. Happy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she says they're happy together. My daddy's talking about it. It's beautiful. Eileen, Phyllis, and Kevin, and Caesar. He's talking about the four of us. I always wanted to tell them on TV, hi, Mom and Dad, and I told them that. H-I. Mom and Dad, I love you.
Caesar's grandmother, Evelyn Chalmers, has always been there for her grandkids. Mrs. Chalmers has one great hope for Caesar.
What one bit of advice, would only be one thing, would you tell Caesar?
To keep his hand in Jesus' hand and to love his family. And I will continue to love his family regardless of what.
You have any doubts that Caesar will?
I don't have no doubts at all. Not at all. No doubts at all. Because Caesar, he's just like that. And I love him for it, too.
The first thing that I want to do is get my degree, you know, and that was my goal when I left, you know, from Hartshorn to go to OU. And I said, I want to get a degree so that I'll be able to get a nice job or something so that I can be able to do something for my mom and dad. And they're really my inspiration, you know. and giving all the credit to God, because he's, you know, put that desire in my heart and to keep going on and to keep running the race and to keep taking one day at a time, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how late I have to stay up. Like it says in the Bible, it says, honor thy mother and thy father. And I honor them with all my heart. And I love them to death, you know, and I've seen them go through some hard times. You know, I've seen our family go through some hard times. And, you know, I look back on all those days, you know, I know it wasn't nothing but the blessings of God that he's allowed me an opportunity. I mean, I thank Coach Switzer for recruiting me, you know, and allowing me to have that chance to be able to go on and do some nice things. But I will never forget my parents, because I see the desires in their hearts and to want to have some nice things for their children. And I want to have some nice things for my mom and dad, and I want to do some nice things for them.
Caesar Rentie's ambitions and goals are directed to the place the roots grow deepest, family. Caesar will never speak with his folks aloud, but this family knows how to speak with their hearts. If only we could all hear what these fine people feel.
Without a doubt, our 15 years on this show is the finest feature we've ever done. Working with fine young men like Caesar made coaching in Oklahoma a privilege. I'd like to thank all my former players and coaches, as well as the cameramen, editors, and other production personnel who had a part in making these memories possible. I'd